Mama Tobi lived in the bustling city of Lagos, where she worked hard each day to take care of her little son, Tobi. Tobi was just 1 year old, full of life and wonder. He had bright eyes that sparkled with curiosity, and he loved to laugh at everything he saw. But Mama Tobi needed to work, and she worried about who would take care of him while she was away. She searched for a helper, someone she could trust to be with Tobi and keep him happy and safe. After asking around, she found Ada, a young woman who seemed kind and gentle. Ada promised, "Don't worry, I'll treat him like my own brother." Mama Tobi's heart felt at ease, thinking she had found the perfect helper. But from the first day Ada started, strange things began to happen. Ada would put Tobi down to rest as soon as Mama Tobi left for work. Instead of playing with him or teaching him to crawl, she lay beside him and fell asleep, leaving Tobi alone. Little Tobi was confused, watching Ada sleep beside him, but he didn't understand what was happening. Day after day, Ada repeated this, turning every hour into nap time for herself. She didn't realize that babies like Tobi needed play, laughter, and movement to grow strong. And Mama Tobi had no idea of the silence that had crept into her home. Over time, Mama Tobi noticed something odd with Tobi. Her once lively boy had become quieter, almost too calm for his age. Babies usually giggle, reach out, and explore, but Tobi had stopped trying to move around. At first, Mama Tobi thought he was just going through a phase. She asked Ada if everything was all right, and Ada assured her, "He's a quiet baby, but he's doing fine." Mama Tobi trusted her words, hoping her son was just having a slow week. She continued working hard, confident that Tobi was being cared for as she'd been promised. But as the days passed, Mama Tobi couldn't ignore how Tobi seemed to grow weaker and more tired. His eyes, once bright, now looked dull, and he often seemed too tired to even hold his toys. Mama Tobi grew more concerned, wondering if Tobi was sick or if something else was wrong. She considered taking him to the doctor, but Ada would reassure her that everything was fine. "He just needs to rest, that's all," Ada would say, smiling. But a strange feeling grew in Mama Tobi's heart, a feeling she couldn't shake off. One night, Mama Tobi lay awake, unable to sleep as she thought of Tobi. Her mind kept wandering to his tired face and weak little legs. She remembered how active he used to be, always reaching for her and smiling. Now, it seemed as if Tobi had lost all interest in the world. Mama Tobi's heart ached as she wondered what had happened to her happy little boy. She even began to wonder if it was her fault for leaving him too much. Was she a bad mother for going to work? The next morning, she went to work with a heavy heart. But halfway through her shift, she felt an urge to go back home. Something inside her whispered that she needed to see her son, to make sure he was okay. Mama Tobi had never left work early before, but she told herself this was an exception. She told her boss she needed to leave, and quickly made her way back home, feeling her heart race with every step. She couldn't understand why she was feeling this way, but something told her she needed to find out what was happening. Mama Tobi opened her door quietly, not wanting to disturb Ada or Tobi. She tiptoed to Tobi's room, and what she saw broke her heart. Ada was lying in Tobi's bed, fast asleep, while Tobi lay beside her, looking at the ceiling. There were no toys around him, no books, nothing to keep him entertained. Tobi's little arms were limp, and his eyes looked sad, almost lifeless. Mama Tobi felt her chest tighten as she watched Ada sleeping peacefully, while her son lay there in silence. Mama Tobi's anger rose as she realized what had been happening. She had trusted Ada to look after Tobi, to give him the love and attention he needed, but Ada had only used her time to rest. Mama Tobi gently picked up Tobi, holding him close and promising herself she would never let this happen again. She turned back to Ada, feeling a mix of sadness and anger. How could Ada be so careless with her precious boy? Ada was supposed to be his guardian while she worked, but instead, she'd done nothing but harm him. After that day, Mama Tobi decided to stay home with Tobi for a few days to help him recover. She watched him closely, giving him all the love and attention she could. But it was heartbreaking to see how weak he had become. His little arms and legs didn't seem as strong as before, and he rarely tried to move around. Mama Tobi encouraged him to play, but Tobi's energy was low, and he grew tired quickly. She worried that Ada's neglect had done more harm than she could fix on her own. Mama Tobi couldn't stop thinking about what Ada had done. She wondered if she should confront her or simply let her go. But something deep inside her needed answers. She needed to understand why Ada had chosen to ignore her son. She called Ada to her home, determined to get the truth. When Ada arrived, she looked surprised to see Mama Tobi at home. Mama Tobi took a deep breath, ready to hear whatever Ada had to say, even though she feared the answer. With a steady voice, Mama Tobi asked Ada, "Why did you sleep while my son lay there alone?" Ada's face turned pale, and she struggled to answer. After a moment, she mumbled, "I didn't think it was such a big deal. He was just a baby, he didn't need much." Mama Tobi's eyes filled with tears as she realized Ada had never understood the importance of her role. Babies needed love, attention, and play to grow healthy, not just a bed to lie on. Mama Tobi couldn't believe her ears. She felt a deep sense of betrayal, knowing that Ada had taken her trust for granted. She told Ada she was no longer welcome in her home and that she needed to leave immediately. Ada hung her head and left without saying a word. Once she was gone, Mama Tobi held Tobi close, wondering how she could help him recover. She knew it would take time, but she was ready to do whatever it took to make things right for her son. As days passed, Mama Tobi became Tobi's closest friend and constant companion. She spent hours with him, gently encouraging him to play and explore. She sang to him, read him stories, and brought out toys that would make any baby smile. But Tobi's progress was slow, and Mama Tobi grew worried. She noticed that even with her care, Tobi didn't show much interest in crawling or trying to stand. Mama Tobi's heart ached as she wondered if Ada's neglect had left a lasting effect on her precious boy. One afternoon, she decided to ask her neighbor, Auntie Beezy, for advice. Auntie Beezy was an older woman who had raised 6 children of her own, and she knew a lot about caring for little ones. Mama Tobi explained Tobi's situation, sharing her fears about how Ada's neglect had weakened him. Auntie Beezy listened carefully, then nodded. "It will take time, Mama Tobi. Tobi just needs patience and lots of love. Don't worry, keep encouraging him and he will start to blossom," she assured her. Mama Tobi felt a spark of hope as Auntie Beezy promised to help her however she could. Following Auntie Beezy's advice, Mama Tobi introduced Tobi to small games and exercises to help him grow stronger. She would hold his tiny hands, guiding him as he practiced standing, even if it was only for a few seconds. She celebrated every little improvement, clapping her hands and cheering him on. Tobi seemed to respond to her warmth, smiling shyly whenever he made progress. It was slow, but Mama Tobi could see a tiny light returning to his eyes, like the beginnings of a small flame. However, some nights were hard. Tobi would get tired quickly, and there were moments he would just stare off, his energy fading. Mama Tobi would hold him close, whispering words of love and reassurance. "We'll get through this together, my son," she promised. Even though she was exhausted, she found new strength in her love for Tobi. With each passing day, she became more determined not to let Ada's carelessness steal Tobi's chance to grow and play like any other child. One evening, Mama Tobi met with other mothers at the local market. They gathered to chat and share their experiences, and Mama Tobi felt it was a good chance to open up about her struggles. As she spoke, one of the mothers, Auntie Yatund, offered some advice. "Why don't you take him to a doctor or therapist, just to see if there's anything more you can do?" she suggested. Mama Tobi hadn't thought of this before, but she realized it might help Tobi's progress. After much thought, she took Tobi to a doctor specializing in child development. The doctor carefully examined Tobi and shared helpful exercises and routines to strengthen his muscles. She explained that while Tobi had fallen behind, he could still make a full recovery with patience and support. Mama Tobi felt a wave of relief, knowing there was hope for her son's future. She returned home, feeling even more motivated to give Tobi everything he needed to heal. Following the doctor's advice, Mama Tobi created a routine for Tobi. Every morning, she would lay him on a soft mat and guide him through small exercises to strengthen his legs and arms. She encouraged him to reach for toys, to hold her fingers, and to try moving on his own. At first, Tobi struggled, but Mama Tobi cheered him on with every tiny success, her heart swelling with pride for her brave little boy. Tobi seemed to sense her love and grew a bit more confident each day. One day, as Mama Tobi held his hands, Tobi surprised her by trying to stand on his own. Though he wobbled, he didn't give up. He looked up at his mother with a shy smile, as if he understood her joy. Tears of happiness filled Mama Tobi's eyes as she hugged him tightly, feeling hopeful for the first time since Ada had left. Tobi's spirit was slowly returning, and it filled Mama Tobi's heart with hope that he would one day be strong and lively again. Over the following weeks, Tobi's progress grew steadily. He began to crawl, exploring the little corners of the room with wonder in his eyes. Mama Tobi stayed close, watching him carefully to ensure he was safe. Every crawl, every little move was a victory, and Mama Tobi celebrated these small moments as if they were big achievements. Her joy spread to Tobi, who responded with happy giggles and little bursts of energy. One afternoon, as Mama Tobi sat beside him, she saw Tobi reach for his favorite toy, a small red ball. To her amazement, he rolled onto his stomach and reached further, pulling the ball toward him. This simple act was a huge step, a sign that Tobi was beginning to interact with the world around him. Mama Tobi hugged him tightly, whispering words of encouragement. She knew there was still a long road ahead, but Tobi's spirit had begun to heal. With each passing day, Tobi grew stronger, and his laughter returned. Mama Tobi could hardly believe the change in him. He seemed like a different child. She was grateful for Auntie Beezy's advice and the support from the other mothers, who cheered on Tobi's progress. The time spent with her son had become precious, and Mama Tobi realized just how much Tobi needed her presence and love. But late at night, Mama Tobi's thoughts drifted back to Ada. She couldn't help but feel anger and disappointment toward her former helper, who had neglected her precious boy. Mama Tobi wondered if she should forgive Ada or if she should try to find out why Ada had acted so carelessly. The memory of Ada's betrayal still haunted her, but Mama Tobi knew she had to focus on her son's recovery. Her first priority was Tobi's happiness and health. One evening, Auntie Beezy visited Mama Tobi, bringing gifts for Tobi, a set of colorful building blocks. Tobi's face lit up as he examined the blocks, and he eagerly began stacking them with his small hands. Auntie Beezy watched with joy, happy to see Tobi's progress. "You're doing wonderfully, Mama Tobi. Look at how strong he's becoming," she said proudly. Mama Tobi felt a deep sense of gratitude for Auntie Beezy, who had been her guiding light through the hardest times. As Tobi played, Mama Tobi shared her lingering thoughts about Ada. Auntie Beezy listened carefully, nodding. "It's hard to forgive when someone hurts the ones we love," she said. "But sometimes, letting go of anger is the best way to heal." Mama Tobi understood that Auntie Beezy was right, but she wasn't sure if she was ready to let go just yet. For now, she focused on the joy in her heart as she watched Tobi happily play with his new blocks. The following days were filled with laughter and games as Mama Tobi continued helping Tobi grow stronger. They played together, with Mama Tobi teaching him to stack blocks, clap his hands, and wave goodbye. Tobi's energy increased with each passing day, and he even began to stand on his own, holding on to furniture for support. Mama Tobi's heart swelled with pride as she watched her son become the lively, curious boy he was meant to be. But Mama Tobi's mind still wandered to Ada from time to time. She wondered what had become of her, if she had ever regretted her actions, or if she even understood the harm she had caused. Mama Tobi knew she might never get an answer, but she slowly began to accept that her anger was fading. With each moment she spent with Tobi, she felt her heart growing lighter, filled with the love and joy of watching her son heal. As time passed, Tobi continued to grow stronger. He was now crawling swiftly and trying to stand up more often. Every small achievement filled Mama Tobi's heart with pride and joy. She encouraged him to explore, to laugh, and to reach out for the world around him. The dark days with Ada became a distant memory as Tobi's spirit blossomed, showing the bright, happy child he was meant to be. Mama Tobi realized that her son was stronger than she had ever imagined, and it gave her peace to see him thriving. One evening, as Tobi toddled toward her with wobbly steps, Mama Tobi's eyes filled with tears of happiness. Her little boy was walking. Though it was only a few steps, it felt like he had conquered a mountain. She knelt down, opening her arms wide, and Tobi fell into them with a giggle. Mama Tobi held him tightly, whispering, "You did it, Tobi. You're so strong and brave." In that moment, she felt like her heart was finally healing. Tobi's laughter chased away the last shadows of pain, leaving only love and joy in her heart. Now that Tobi was walking, Mama Tobi introduced him to the world outside. She took him to the nearby park, where other children ran and played. Tobi's eyes widened with excitement as he watched the older kids, and he tried to run after them, his little legs moving as fast as they could. Mama Tobi laughed, happy to see him filled with so much energy. She knew he was finally experiencing the childhood he deserved, free from the loneliness and neglect he had endured with Ada. Other parents in the park noticed Tobi's progress and complimented Mama Tobi on his strength and resilience. She felt proud, knowing that her love and dedication had made a difference. She also realized that she had learned an important lesson about trust. She would be more careful in the future, making sure to find someone who truly understood the responsibility of caring for a child. For now, she focused on creating happy memories with Tobi, knowing that he was finally safe, loved, and cared for. One day, while Mama Tobi and Tobi were at the market, they ran into Ada. Mama Tobi's heart skipped a beat as she saw her former helper, who looked surprised and a little nervous. Ada glanced at Tobi, who was now smiling and babbling happily in his mother's arms, looking healthier and more lively than ever. Mama Tobi felt a mixture of emotions, anger, sadness, but also relief. She had often wondered if she would ever see Ada again, and now, here she was, right before her. Ada hesitated, then spoke softly, "Mama Tobi, I heard about Tobi's progress. I didn't know how to care for him properly before, and I'm truly sorry." Mama Tobi looked at her for a long moment. Part of her wanted to let her anger show, but another part of her recognized that holding on to bitterness would not change the past. With a deep breath, she said, "I hope you've learned from this, Ada. Taking care of a child is a big responsibility." Ada nodded, looking down, and Mama Tobi could tell that she understood. After that encounter, Mama Tobi felt an unexpected sense of closure. She realized that forgiving Ada didn't mean excusing her actions. It meant letting go of the pain Ada had caused. Now that Tobi was happy and thriving, Mama Tobi no longer felt the weight of anger in her heart. She was ready to leave the past behind and focus on the bright future she wanted to build with her son. From that day forward, Mama Tobi put all her energy into making sure Tobi had everything he needed to grow up healthy and strong. With each passing day, Tobi grew more active and playful. He loved running around, chasing after butterflies, and playing with other children in the neighborhood. Mama Tobi was overjoyed to see him thriving, and she felt grateful for the journey they had both been through. She knew that, together, they had overcome a difficult time, and it had only made their bond stronger. Tobi was now a picture of health, his laughter filling the air wherever he went. As Tobi's second birthday approached, Mama Tobi decided to celebrate with a small gathering of friends and family. She wanted to mark this special day and honor how far her son had come. She invited Auntie Beezy, Auntie Yatund, and a few other mothers who had supported her throughout Tobi's journey. The room was decorated with colorful balloons, and a small cake sat on the table, waiting for Tobi to blow out his candles. Tobi's face lit up with excitement as he saw everyone gathered just for him. When it was time to cut the cake, Mama Tobi held Tobi's hand, helping him make a wish. "Happy birthday, my brave boy," she whispered as they cut the cake together. The room filled with cheers and laughter as everyone celebrated Tobi's strength and resilience. Mama Tobi looked around at her friends and family, feeling deeply grateful for their love and support. She knew that Tobi's journey had been challenging, but with the love of those around them, they had overcome every obstacle. In the days following the birthday celebration, Mama Tobi felt a deep sense of peace. She reflected on the challenges they had faced and realized how much she and Tobi had grown together. The past had taught her valuable lessons about love, trust, and resilience. Tobi was now a healthy, happy child, filled with curiosity and joy. Watching him play, Mama Tobi felt proud of the journey they had both taken. She knew that, no matter what the future held, they would face it together, hand in hand. Every time she saw Tobi laugh, She felt a renewed sense of purpose. The dark days were behind them, and they were both stronger for it. Mama Tobi silently promised to always be there for her son, to protect him and to cherish the joyful moments they shared. As she watched him play in the yard, running and laughing with his friends, she knew that they had finally found peace and happiness.